welcome to my YouTube channel, Aging Younger. Our topic for today's video is Parenting in Theos, meaning parenting in the presence of God. If you are inspired by this video, please like and subscribe. It really inspires me to create more. Enjoy! Today, I read the news about a young mother who got into a boating accident with her 4-year-old son. They found the child sleeping and alone in the boat. And the news says, and I quote, "She mustered enough energy to get her son on the boat, but not enough to save herself." I imagined her in her last moment, her child in her arms, swimming with all her might and gathering all her energy to swing her son into the boat before the waves overtook her. Sad as it may seem, this story is characteristic of what parents will sacrifice for their children. I'm dedicating this video to all grown-up children out there to illustrate what happens behind the life you currently love and enjoy. Call it behind the scenes of a mother's love. Every time I was pregnant with any of my 3 boys, I was filled with unimaginable joy. No matter how turbulent my married life was at that time, the problems would just magically go away, and I lived in a state of bliss for every month my unborn child was actively kicking in my womb. When the final moment of childbirth arrived, I was ecstatic. I never had anesthesia in all 3 births because we practiced Lamaze, so I experienced every bit of controlled labor pains. Seeing, feeling, and hearing all my children come out into this world screaming, I always felt like the victorious first-place winner of a triathlon. Exhausted, but triumphant. As they were growing up, I was not spared the challenges of a mother with hyperactive boys. When my eldest son was about 4 years old, I used to bring him to my catering business regularly. One particular day, he had a slight fever, so I had to leave him home. That ill-fated day, I figured into a major car accident that almost cost me my life. The passenger seat that my son used to occupy was completely crushed, and only my seat remained intact. The car was a total wreck, and I was left for dead by the bus driver who rammed into my car and stayed on top of my car. He got out of his bus and took off before the police would even arrive, alongside with the bus conductor. Recuperating from several operations at the hospital, I was praying, continually grateful that I did not bring my son with me that unfortunate day. I thanked his guardian angels, and I thanked the Lord for sparing his life and mine. What was going on inside your little mind when you were allowed to visit me at the hospital, my son? While I was working, my kids would spend time with my in-laws, where they would ride their bikes and skateboards. One day, while in a meeting, I received an urgent call from my mother-in-law, who was normally very cool and composed. Briefly, she told me that I should not get angry with my second son because he got hit by a car while riding his bicycle. They had brought him to a hospital for examination and x-rays, and he seemed to be fine. Confused, I asked, Why should I be angry when he was the one who got hit? She said that my son's first reaction had been, "Oh no, my mom will be angry because I dropped and broke my cell phone. Please don't tell my mom." I was devastated to learn that my son thought I would care for his cell phone more than his well-being.
Yeah, beautiful eyes. Beautiful eyes.
After that incident, I made sure that my son knew it was his welfare and safety that was most important to me. An occasion presented itself when he fell off his skateboard and broke his wrist. I brought him to the nearby emergency room, but the ER doctor failed to set his wrist properly, so I had to bring him to an orthopedic surgeon. Through the pain, did you feel the love, my son? Not to be outdone, I came home from work one day, and the kids urgently rushed up to me to say that my youngest son had swallowed a 1 peso coin. I tried all sorts of store-bought medicines to make the coin pass naturally, to no avail. Finally, I had to bring him to the hospital for endoscopy, where a long thin tube with a scope and an implement, kinda like a fishing rod, to grip the coin, was inserted inside his small body. He was so little and so young, you could imagine the apprehension and anxiety I felt before and after the procedure. Since it was the Christmas season, there were few patients in the emergency room. My little boy would draw the curtains of the ER beds aside and would sing at the top of his lungs one of the songs that I would listen to before we went to bed each night. The song was entitled, "I Will Survive." After he was given anesthesia, the nurse suddenly came out to get me, and it made my heart skip so fast I thought I would faint. It turned out that my son just wanted to blow me a kiss and say, "Good night, Mommy," before he fell asleep from the anesthetic drip. All of the medical staff found him so endearing and adorable, but unfortunately, they were unable to pull the coin out. I had to bring him to another hospital that my best friend recommended for a more successful procedure. Through all this, as my son bravely underwent the procedures and charmed the medical staff in the process, I was giving thanks to God for my child's final successful procedure and for receiving my Christmas bonus just in time to pay for all the bills and the medical expenses incurred from the 2 hospitals. Now that they are fully grown adults and my 2 sons are no longer living with me, I wonder, what are in their minds when they think about me? Admittedly, I have made several mistakes rearing them up. I do not think a parent is ever prepared to address all the challenges of raising children. We just have to learn, and oftentimes the hard way. To my children, I apologize for the times when I almost dictated what you needed to do with your life, what courses to take, colleges to attend, careers to undertake, jobs to seize, where to live, and sometimes even what type of relationship partners to choose. Misguided as I might have been during those times, know that it was always your best interest in my heart. On hindsight, I realized that I was acting more like a plant parent rather than following the examples of God as a father. With my plants, I would prune and nurture them and change their relocation to places I knew were best for them to survive. Since God lets us exercise our own free will, I too, as a parent, have to let go and let them make their own choices and create their own destiny. I can only guide, but not dictate. Every parent has her own untold story. What is yours? If you do not have children, what were your own parents behind the love narratives? We may not always know what to do as young parents, but if we use God the Father's love as a benchmark, then we can never go wrong. We are parenting in Theos, in the presence of God. It is a continuous struggle not to judge our children as they confide their troubles, to keep encouraging, to lift their spirit, to let them know they are beautiful beings inside and out, to guide but not to curtail their free will, to accept them back unconditionally after they stray, and most importantly, to let them know we love them more than we love ourselves. To love and sacrifice for our children comes naturally as the Spirit dwells in every one of us. I hope you were inspired by today's video, and I'd like to dedicate this to my second son, who is turning 25 years old today. Happy birthday! I love you! Hey, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, Aging Younger. Please comment on what resonates with you in this video, and if you want me to cover other topics you're interested in. So, I'll see you next time.